Y'all really want to know how to break a generational cycle if you got kids? Check this out. Allow your kids to tell you when you're hurting them without being reactive, defensive, or dismissive. This has not only built a better bond and relationship with my children, but it's also kind of formed like a type of protection around us. Let me tell you how. So with this, my children feel safe to tell me and call me out on my behaviors. If I'm being like if I'm being a bitch one day or being grumpy or something like that, they will respectfully tell me like, hey, you said this, hurt my feelings, or hey, this was, this felt a little guilt trippy, or hey, this didn't feel right. And they always tell me in a very respectful way, and they always tell me in a way that is definitely heard. Now, what this has done is it's created a really safe environment. And if you want to know more on how I started off, it started off small and then kind of went up, and we built it. It's taken 2 years to get to this point, and we're still going through trial and error and rupture and repair. However, what started off as something small ended up so much bigger. So I started allowing them to call me out on certain behaviors without consequences, without being reactive, without being defensive. It took a lot of therapy work to get to there. There is a disclaimer to this. This method comes with catastrophic consequences if abused, or if you're just not going to do the inner work to not be defensive or reactive. I can't even begin to imagine if I broke their trust. I can't. So if you do want to do this method and work on this tool, there needs to be a professional involved. Please go to a therapist of some sort or seek professional before really engaging in this. This is to do with lifelong repair and bonding. So my children, we walk around, they tell me any day of the week. They know they can't do this with other adults. We've had long conversations. Adults are not safe if they've not done the work. Adults are not safe if they are reactive, if they are defensive, and or if they are dismissive. My children know this. So they're really careful with how, they interact with other adults. My children are very well educated on gaslighting, insinuations, manipulation tactics. They can call it out from a mile away, and I encourage it. Mostly I tell them not to engage, though, with other adults, again, due to the unsafety. So what does this do? How does this look? How does this put us in a position of safety? Because imagine walking in to me and my girl's house, and I don't know, say if I did something off-putting, be like, hey mom, you're guilt tripping me, can you please, stop, or something like that. Which she never says it like that. She's very sweet about it. But that's what, a normal unhealed person would hear and probably freak out. So what this does is it requires me as the adult to have a very specific type of person around my children. So when I want to date, one of my requirements is going to absolutely have to be, you need to have therapy and you need to work on that reactive response in order for the safety of my children. That's how it turned into protection. So I've been single for well over 2 years, maybe even going on 3. And I dipped my toe in the dating pool. And this is how this whole tool ended up peaking, saying, peekaboo. once I really started making that a part of our family, I realized I can't have an unhealed partner. I can't have a partner who is reactive. I can't have a partner who hasn't done the work, who isn't doing the work. They don't have to be healed, but they have to be actively doing the work. So I dipped my toe in, went on a dating app and engaged for a week, did like a trial. I did it more as a social experiment. Out of 20 of the individuals that I engaged with, only one went to therapy. One. I ended up engaging with men. Haven't engaged with women yet, but one. So what that did in that moment for me was, I wasn't having to pick through every single one. I had to set the boundary with myself, and then I had to set the boundary with them. I was doing things that I never used to do before. Excuse me. It was an experience of a lifetime. So yeah, that's the protection that it placed around me and my children, is that it had forced me to set an expectation, and there's no make exceptions for that expectation. And I'm talking that wiped out unnecessary. It wiped out bullshit is what it did. Because let's face it, you have to sort through a whole bunch of bullshit when you're dating. So yeah, that tool right there is not only good for repairing and, your relationship with your kids, but also will introduce you to a whole new version of yourself, of setting boundaries and expectations. I'm serious. But if y'all want to know more and how I slowly started to work my way into building my trust again with my kids, let me know. Have no problem. It's a lot. I'm going to try really hard to keep it short, simple, to the point. But it's definitely life-changing, and it's definitely opened up another version of myself I didn't know existed. All right, well, I love y'all. Merry Christmas.